Now, Time Crisis is a franchise that needs no introduction, but I bet a lot of people don't remember that there was a sequel that came out in between the first and second game. It was called Time Crisis Project Titan and was released exclusively for the PS1. That's most likely because Project Titan is a sequel to the post-game content that you unlocked on the console version of the original title, none of which was featured in the arcade. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. And yes, I did just grab a controller, but we'll circle back to that. Project Titan puts you in the shoes of Special Agent Richard Miller once again. This time, he's been falsely accused of assassinating a political figure, and the VSSC can only shield him for 48 hours. So he sets out to clear his name and discover who the real assassin is. The main villains are a returning Cantaris and Wild Dog, complete with a Gatling gun for an arm and some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard.
I'll kill you all! You're dead, Miller!
Now, I know this franchise isn't exactly known for its voice work, but even by arcade standards, that was pretty bad. The game has both a story mode and a time attack mode. Time attack puts an interesting spin on the gameplay. Here, you'll have unlimited lives, so you can play to your heart's content, but the game ends when time runs out. It's a great training method to help you adjust to the gameplay. Story mode is the main campaign. Unlike future games in the franchise, the time mechanic from the original title makes a return, meaning that time is always against you. The counter will continue ticking down, even when you're moving to the next section of the level. Prioritizing enemies, knowing when to hide and when to shoot, and killing as many of those orange-colored bad guys as you can for extra time are vital for surviving every encounter. Every second matters. The game also does something new with its boss encounters. They introduced the multi-cover system, in which yellow arrows will appear on screen and you must shoot them while hiding to move to a different area of cover. Sometimes a boss will move out of your line of sight, requiring you to utilize this mechanic. So that brings me back to the controller. Can Time Crisis Project Titan be enjoyed with the PlayStation controller if you don't have a gun con? Well... When you use a controller, the game provides you with the crosshair. Not only does this help you determine where to aim, but it also has a tracking system to assist you when you're firing. Even though DualShock is supported, the controls were designed with the D-pad in mind. Aiming with this method can be really clunky, however, so the targeting reticle not only tracks enemies when they move, but is also lenient with bullet placement. Once that reticle turns red and is close to a target, chances are that that shot is going to land. Now that may sound extremely helpful, but it gets less effective in the final stage. Enemies start getting too quick for the system, and will often make it difficult to keep track of the reticle. It's not game-breaking per se, but it does become very frustrating. The bottom line is if you're playing with the controller, you're gonna have a decent time. But if you can afford it, of course I'm gonna recommend the gun con. And that brings us to the end of the video. But before we reach for our beer, I do have a shout out to make. Captain Wildhair83, yes, that's Wild with an H, is a gaming YouTuber who primarily specializes in Let's Plays. But I'm talking about the old school Let's Plays, the kind that used to focus on playing games and having fun. He doesn't bombard you with a bunch of ads, sponsors, or begs you to subscribe every 5 fucking minutes. When you get a chance, go give his channel some love. You won't be disappointed. I'm noticing a new trend on YouTube. People are wanting to go back to the old days of the platform. Sort of a retro revival, if you will. It's the reason why I started this channel. And now, more than ever, it's important that we find each other and support each other. Because right now, each other is really all we have. I know that's a harsh pill to swallow, but that's how it goes sometimes. Cheers.